steady sound, tuning in for change. Luke Scott III on Kind Sound Radio. Next Level Show.
Welcome to this episode of the Next Level Show, and I am super excited to bring you one of my favorite singer-songwriters in the whole entire world. She is an absolute superstar, and she's been traveling all around the world promoting her albums and sharing her beautiful music. And she is Carrie Tree. Carrie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I had the pleasure of being played a few of Carrie's tracks by one of my friends when I spent some time with them, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. I got a bit addicted, Carrie, to your music. And I think if you saw a spike in Spotify revenues, that was probably from me. I don't know if you've made millions from Spotify now. It's probably.
I don't know many people do that, but.
Yeah, it's just your music just hooked me and really brought me into this way that you tell stories. And on all the Next Level shows, we always get people to really talk about how music makes them feel, and that's what your music does to me. You made me cry many times, and I've been playing you to my wife and to my daughter, and I think it's just such a beautiful gift that you've given the world. So thank you.
Wow, thank you so much. It's so touching to hear that it gets, like, it's so amazing for me that I can record the music and put so much love and time in this, like, I suppose it's that gestation period, like birth, like it's in the womb and it's just so much tending, and then it's like a teenager and you send it off into the world, and then it's free, and you don't know where it's going to go, who it's going to touch. And I love that, I don't have to be there or where it goes, and it's like water. They travel to all these places, and touch people, which is just amazing. That to me, it's still like completely. My brain can't really understand it, but it doesn't need to. There's like, yeah.
How are you when it comes to like receiving compliments about your music? Is that something you're like used to now? Was it challenging for you to start with, or was that a bit of a journey?
Oh, it's such an interesting journey, because it's like there's such a different type of compliment, and some can be really awkward, and some can feel really. I guess it's for me about feeling the person's where they. If someone says, "Oh, you are so great," like there's not much or you are so to anybody. There's not much you can do about that, because it's sort of a concrete statement. But if someone tells me how touched they feel by the music, it's like I keep using this child analogy because it feels so similar. I haven't got any children, but I see how people talk about their children. It's like I feel so much love for these songs because they're not mine. They're gifts. They come through me to teach me, to heal me. They're such deep, dear friends of mine. So when someone feels touched by it, I'm like, oh wow, that's so cool. Me too. Like I'm really touched by them because they touch me so much, because they're given to me, like they help me so much. They're like often I don't know what the words, like where the words come from, and I look at them and I'm like, oh wow, that's really helped me. It's weird, it's like a dream. It's like if you wake up from a dream, like where does the dream come from? Did you create it, or was it given to you? Or it's that sort of strange liminal, whatever the word is, space that's, you can't sort of, is mysterious, basically, and yeah. And so I feel more and more able to receive when people are touched by it, because I've also been really looking at when I'm really touched by something and I want to tell somebody what it is I'm wanting, or I basically just want to be received in my. So it's like, it's such a practice, isn't it? And it's the same in all areas of life, actually, how we give and receive our gratitude and shared connection, actually. It's like connecting, that's what it is. It's like one of the main reasons I play music is a longing for connection. So often I feel more connected to somebody when we feel connected to something that we've both been touched by. It's like a deeper connection is created. So I feel that,
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Makes absolute sense. And that's what music has always been for me. Music is this incredible gift that can allow me to get connected with my feelings. No matter what's going on in the outside world, you can put your headphones in and you can connect to this moment in time that you've channeled, that you've created, that you've brought through from the dream into this dream. I class this life as a dream as well.
Totally.
I think one day we'll wake up and we'll go, wow, that was a great dream. Let's go again. That sounds fun. And Carrie, we're going to play some of your songs because you've agreed to be a featured artist on Kinda Sound, which we're so excited to have you. So we'll be playing lots of your songs on Kinda Sound Radio. And we're going to share 4 of Carrie's songs over the course of this interview today. And we're also going to talk a lot about strength and vulnerability. I know you said that was something you wanted to bring more light to, Carrie. Why did you feel that was an important topic for us to dive into today?
It was because it was an interesting question being asked what I, for a theme or what I wanted to talk about. And it's funny to try and tune into which part of the self or being you want to talk about. So I talked out loud to my friend, what it is I just streamed, and then those words came, and I realized how important they've been to me, like my journey of vulnerability in music, and how it's. I mean, I don't even know where to start actually in it. It's such huge topics. I just did some inquiries with my friend just now. It was really beautiful. What is strength, and then what is vulnerability, and the power that comes from both of those, like the mix between them, almost like you laugh till you cry, and then you cry till you laugh. How much. How strong, how much strength there is in choosing to be okay with vulnerability, and how, and also maybe how much vulnerability there can be in strength, like to really be honest. It's so much about honesty for me, vulnerability, and the strength of honesty actually, and how, and with music, that's been such a strong journey for me, because I have always written my music from what's happening now. Can you see that thing on the screen? Shall I just ignore it? I'll just ignore it.
the joys of doing online interviews. So we've got some things appearing to Carrie. It's just going to try and meander through it. Carrie, yeah, absolutely. I feel your vulnerability in your music when you sing, and that's been a similar journey for myself, and the journey of entrepreneurship and public speaking, and myself as a performer, stepping into vulnerability. I found for me, the more vulnerable I am, the more I actually draw people to me. It kind of feels like a part of me was scared that if I was vulnerable, people wouldn't want to be near me. Like they would see that as a kind of weakness. But I found the complete opposite. The more I say, hey, I need help, or I don't know what to do, or I've never done this before, the more people come forward and say, wow, I'd love to support you. Have you found something similar with your journey?
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And actually, it's been such a beautiful way to learn the strength of vulnerability through music, because exactly, I realized the more honest I dare to be in the music, and in between the music, just like speaking things out loud. If I'm on stage and I feel whatever I feel, to say it out loud, it just brings more connection actually into the space. And realized that with music there was this amazing freedom to go as honest and vulnerable as I dared to go, because when people listen, they don't go, oh my God, I can't believe they think that. They either don't feel it or they really feel it, but it's all to themselves. So the more I can gift that practice to myself, the more I'm gifting that opportunity for us all in the space to go into those depths of our heart and our honesty. And that feels like so delicious, and exactly what you said, it brings us closer together. I mean, there's a fine line, because of course it can be an oversharing. If I'm telling people I'm vulnerable because I need them to help me, that's a different quality, and people feel that, and that's not so. Then it's like it's a different energy. But if I'm holding my own vulnerability, then that draws people You know what I mean? There's this fine line of it.
Yeah, it's fun to play with, isn't it? It's fun to explore. And it's not something we're taught as children, typically, especially not in our westernized school system. We're not taught to like play with emotions and figure out, how far feels good. When do we put a boundary up? How far do we take this? Like, what's okay, what's not? And most people's parents aren't really equipped to teach them that either. And so we end up becoming these adults that have to put the pieces together ourselves, which is super interesting. Yeah. Carrie, we're going to play one of our first songs now, and this is a song I think is very timely, even though you recorded it quite a while ago. Mm-hmm. in the space of this man-made time anyway. Sure, it seems like yesterday. And I think we're at a time on our planet now where there is so much craziness happening. There's this huge transition, and so many people are becoming more conscious of the way they relate to people, the way they relate to the planet, the way they relate to animals. And this song's called The Water Song. It's one of my absolute favorites. And I cried the first time I heard it. I cried the second time I heard it. I think I don't know how many times it kept getting me, because it touched something in me that I didn't even understand was important. And just tell us a little bit about The Water Song. How did this song come to be?
Yeah, I was so happy when you chose that song, because some songs can be loud at some times and quiet at other times, and it's more of a, I have to really choose to play it, because it's a long song, and it's a strong song, and it's so full of grief, and it's not like a cheery entertainment song. It's like so I have to sometimes make myself bring it, but I do continue to make myself bring it, because it's what I can do for the water. And I don't know what else to do, actually. I mean, it's just to speak it and to keep bringing, just bringing themes into the space, into the field. So this is about water, about. It started with me being in Ireland, and I was in this very wild, beautiful place. And I walked. I mean, this song actually tells the story. But I walked down to this river, and it looked wild and really beautiful and untouched. And as I got closer, I saw these two dead fish floating on the surface, and all this frothy, sort of weird chemical smell. And it's something about that moment, when your heart gets cracked open. It just hit me like a ton of bricks, because I was like, God, it's not just in the cities; it's in the wild places. This feels untouched to me, and here is this river that's really like struggling, and what's happened to us that we can pour chemicals into this water and it be the very thing we need for life. And it's like this crazy sickness, and without the judgment, it's like, what happened to us? Like, and this sort of crazy feeling like, I feel like we're waking up, but what a shame it would be if we woke up and realized when all the water's already dead, when we've already killed all the water, and then we realize like, it just poured out of me, this song, and I cried and cried and cried. It was like I tapped into some huge grief pool of all the water, and it was so strong to write this song, just so many tears, and I was sort of taken over by it until it was complete, and it's not like I don't want to be moaning and ranting. I'm really cautious of that. It's just sometimes things just need to be said, and I haven't got an answer even for it, or any blame. There's no blame anywhere. It's just prayer, basically. It's just a prayer for our water and for us remembering life. It's almost like, because we are 80% water, whatever it is. So it's like we literally just poison, like what happened, that we poison ourselves and poison the earth, which is us, and all of it. Yeah, it's fascinating, but it's sort of like, it's just it's a prayer that we see what we do, and with full compassion for that, because I feel like it's, I see when often I'm numb to these things. They're too big subjects to feel. So often I'm really numb to water, and like, thank God that the music cracks me open sometimes to be able to feel it. And that's another reason why I keep singing these things, because music has a way of getting through the numbness and the shutdown and the not, it breaks the walls of our armour that we have around us for all sorts of reasons.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And everybody strap yourselves in. This is about 7 minutes of absolute beautiful storytelling. And so settle in, get ready, and enjoy The Water Song by Carrie Tree.
I'm in the wild lands of Ireland, an old ancient town, where our grandfathers would have drunk fresh from the well. And I'm sitting here quietly by the river shore. I hear the clear song of sorrow coming from the river floor. And I talk to a local man who dropped me off here. He said you can't drink or swim in any water around here no more. No, you can't drink or swim in any water around here no more. And it looked from a distance like a paradise place to soak in precious summer sun and splash water on my face. But now that I'm closer, the sad river ghosts appear, and all the dead confused fish with their chemical tears. They say don't dare drink or swim in any water around here no more. Where do you come from? And where would you flee if we kill all the sweet water and there's just dead salty sea? Would we then fight for it? 'Cause how would you survive? At what point would we notice all the rivers have died? When you can't drink or swim in any water in this world no more. I make a prayer and I sing for all the water in this world. I will protect you. May I somehow not forsake you. I fell asleep at the wheel. I got severed from truth, but I hope I'm waking up in time. I hope I'm waking up in time. Don't we know this yet? Earth is our body, as water's our blood. Don't we know this yet? Earth is our body, as water's our blood. Virus of our greed is now reaching the edge. Oh, if we're not so careful, there'll be no wild places left. And grandfather warns us, oh, the red in the sky. If we keep on consuming without insane denial, I don't mean to sound tragic, I don't mean to bring you down, but there are oceans of tears to be cried for the waste of this land. And where do you come from? And where would you flee if we kill all the sweet water and there's just angry Dead Sea? How would we ever grieve this? Oh, I need to hear you cry. At what point would you notice all the rivers had died? Oh, who would tell our children? What on earth would we say? No, you can't drink or swim in any water in this world no more. So I make a prayer and I stand for all the water in this world. Oh, I will protect you. May I somehow not forsake you. I fell asleep at the wheel, I got severed from truth, but I pray we're waking up in time. I pray we're waking up in time. Don't we know this yet? Earth is our body, as water's our blood. Don't we know this yet? Earth is our bodies, as water's our blood. And I know this now. Earth is my body, as water's my blood. And I know this now. Earth is my body, as water's my blood.
Kind of sound, tuning in for change.
That was The Water Song by the amazing Carrie Tree, who we have here with us today on the Next Level show. Carrie, thank you for that amazing piece of music that you brought into this reality. It touches me very deeply. I've had an incredible journey with water since I had my spiritual awakening in 2016, and just learning to respect this thing that we all take for granted, and realizing that in 2016 they did this study in the UK, and it said that only 16% of the rivers in the UK were like at a good enough level according to the European council that did them. And then in 2020 it now says that 0% of the rivers in the UK are drinkable water. 0%. Yeah. Right? And that is insane. So in the 4 years from when I started this journey, it seems like people haven't learned the lesson yet. And then I heard your beautiful song, and I'm like, if we could just get everybody to connect with the water, I'm sure we would change. And there's this beautiful, beautiful line in your song. It says, I hope we're waking up in time. and I do hope that I make the same prayer. I really believe we can turn this around. Humans are so creative, and when we put our focus on something, we can manifest rapid changes, and you just need enough people. So it's so wonderful.
Sorry.
No, please go.
I was thinking, I guess it's like, for me, it's about connection, isn't it? Because I guess it's like that thing of inward and outward. Like if I really connect to the water in my body, or if I connect to how much I drink, or every time I hold a glass of water. That was the other thing about that song, was like, it's so far away from me still, because my reality is I have this nice water filter and I turn my tap on, I pour it, but I have amazing clean water around me. I'm so lucky, it's insane, you know. So I don't actually see the places where there's not clean water. And so, but I suppose what can I do with that? I can feel guilty, but that doesn't help. And I realize, you know, when, of course, what's that guy, Dr. Emoto, amazing guy that brought that into so much consciousness to people. That was really life-changing because it spread so far and wide, that thing of realizing in such a clear way that crystals change to our intention and our prayers. So, you know, I think even just, you know, we can change so much. Every time I go to a river source, I just whisper my thanks to it, you know. Every time I hold a glass of water, I'm just like, thank you. And praying with water is amazing. Like, I start, I mean, whatever prayer is to people, but just if I hold a glass of water and I just start thanking it, it's endless, you know, it's endless gratitude, because I just realize what it actually does, and that it's everything, there's life, and it can go on. And yeah, I think that really helps. And I just think of all the people around the world that are doing that, and that just one whisper of thanks to a river, or acknowledging it has an effect. Like, it's constantly, it changes things so much. And I'm like you, I just have I sort of have this trust that in the strength of the earth, actually, and the strength of water. And it's so mystical. Like, what even is it? You know, where does it even come from? How old it's got all this? It's just we can't get our heads around it even. So I feel like it's stronger than I don't know, actually. I hope so.
Yeah, I've actually run entire seminars about water. I spent several months in London doing workshops about water, just educating people and about Dr. Emoto's work. And then I heard your song, and it kind of reignited that in me. I'm like, I need to get more people to connect with the water. And there's this, I see personally, this awakening on our planet, this opening, blossoming of people becoming more conscious. It seems now to me like there are so many people realizing like that there are consequences for our actions, and we have to be more conscious about what we do and how we consume and how we live. And I feel hopeful. I feel very hopeful that we are waking up in time, Carrie. And there's this line in the song that really hit me, because I just had my daughter. So my daughter is almost 8 months old now, and it was like, what will we tell our children? That they can't drink or swim in any waters in the entire world? That could be a possibility in some reality that we are not manifesting. That is not the reality we are manifesting. I use this example because a lot of people in London know the River Thames. And I say, would you drink from the River Thames? And they say, of course not. And like, that's one of the main rivers. Like, all the animals, all the trees, they have to drink from that river. They have no choice.
Wow, yeah.
And people go, whoa, I didn't even think about that before. And so I use that as a real life example, because whatever river there is near you, wherever you're listening, like, would you go and drink from that river? I think the answer is probably no. And that's a scary thought, because those animals and those plants, they have no choice.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
Yeah, I think it seems to affect people, and it leads on to the next song we're going to share, Carrie, which is about human kindness.
Yeah, you pick these strong songs. It's funny. Well, I picked that one.
And we're called Kinder Sound Radio. We're a radio station built around kindness. That's the whole point. And I am currently creating this vegan eco village. I've been working on the project for several years now, and we're building it. And the core value, the core concept of the village is it's a village built around kindness. We resolve our disputes with kindness. We live in a way that is kind to ourselves, to others, to the planet. And so when I heard your song Human Kindness, I really love, if you go check out Carrie on YouTube, there's a beautiful version of this live at the Union in London, I believe. And she sings it at the chapel. Yeah, she sings it so well. You feel it's extra emotion. Even is I love live music as well. I love all kinds of music, but there's something very special, isn't there, when you're there live performing?
Totally.
What's this song all about for you, Carrie? If you were to try and share the message with the people who are tuning in today.
It's funny because the water song and human kindness are two of the ones that are like, it's really funny that they've ended up next to each other because they're such big topics. Like, but you know, like, yeah, it's that's the point, I guess, to be vulnerable, basically. In that, I feel vulnerable in that, and that's okay. It's like the heart starts beating. Why am I vulnerable? Because it's a difficult topic, and I wrote it in a refugee camp in France, in Calais. Because it was at the time when it was called the Jungle, this huge refugee camp in Calais, and people come from miles and miles. Remember, you know, it was just thousands of people from all these different countries trying to get to England. And it was, I don't know how many people were there, but for the first time in my life, I felt like it was so close to me. Of course, it's not a new topic, but it was like a 20-minute ferry ride. I was living in Sussex. And so I went to volunteer there just for a couple of weeks, like cooking and just to see for myself, actually. And you know, I don't know where to start with it, but it touched me on so many levels. You know, just what to do with those feelings. Also, the amazingness of the human spirit, I was really touched by, you know, and the amount of kindness, the people, how many people were drawn there to help. There were like truckloads of donations coming every day, and people building whole houses are such a huge beacon for people to come and support. And then also a lot of people in serious need and broken hearts and broken lives and whatever, you know, I can't imagine. But it was on the last day that I was there, I was walking around and there was too many of us trying to help, which is sort of ironic. There's loads of people like trying to cook and serve, and there's actually too many helpers. And I just thought, I'm a songwriter, actually. I need to walk around and just talk to people. I never usually think like that, but there was something in me, so I just went for a walk, and I walked right to the edge of this camp, and I met this guy there from Syria, and he told me his story, and just had this very beautiful conversation with him. I never saw him again. I don't know his name or anything, actually. And I went back to where I was staying, and this song, it's one of those ones that the water song and this one are the two where the floodgates open, and it's like it's writing me, you know, through the grief and the trying to comprehend it and not understand. And the theme really was, you know, because normally it's hard for me to touch on these subjects because they're so huge. I wouldn't know where to start. But this thing of kindness and home, it was like I could understand that, like on some level, like I've never not had a home in my life unless I've chosen. And the comprehension of people having no home, no land. You know, I was meeting people where 2 countries either side of their land was like at war, and their country obliterated, and no passport, no, you know, it's just like, wow, what a choice that is on some, like, not what, you know, whatever, what a situation that being is in this lifetime, to experience such a deep reality of homelessness and no, you know, misplacement. And of course people say home is where the heart is, but these people are seriously having to find that place inside themselves on such a full-on level, and it was like so much respect, you know, and honouring of people in that situation, which I've never experienced. And just this, it's a prayer. It's basically like a prayer for human kindness, of the kindness of realising that it could be any one of us, you know, in these situations. It could be any one of us that suddenly one moment we have all our life set up, and 1 minute, and the next minute we're knocking on someone's door with nothing and needing so many things, you know. And just this sort of fragility of that, and just this sort of the home being this centre inside ourselves, and of that we can always invite each other into, you know, of connection, of kindness, of giving, and that trust. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense. It's really hard to try to explain it, but it
makes absolute sense. I believe by getting people to connect to kindness, it's one of the fastest ways we can change the whole world, because you can't hurt another if you're coming from kindness. it's not practical. It wouldn't feel right. And the same for our planet, and the same for the animals. And this is a big part of my activism that I do, is just helping people to really connect with who they are. Because similar to what you said before, I was numb to the plight of the animals, and I was numb to the plight of the planet, and didn't really care as long as I got what I needed. And looking back now, it's just so far away from where I am now. So everybody, enjoy this amazing song from Carrie Tree called Human Kindness.
To this ugly game, I see a war designed to never be tamed. I've slept in the rubble amongst the shame, screaming at the bones, this is not in my name. And I'm seeking kindness, I'm longing for safety, and I'm praying for home. I'm craving compassion, searching for sanity, praying for home. Been stripped to the bone. Home is where we can belong, and home is where our children grow strong. Home is where the fire burns low, and home is where peace can come from, and home is where peace can come from. I've traveled for months and ran thousands of miles, and I've fled the land that holds the heart of my kin. And I know you now see the torn state I'm in. I can't tell you my name or the places I've been. And I'm seeking kindness, I'm longing for safety, and I'm praying for hope. I'm craving compassion, searching for sanity, praying for hope. I've been stripped to the bone, and home is where we can belong, and home is where our children grow strong, and home is where the fire burns long, and home is where peace can come from, and home is where peace can come from. And I'm praying for human kindness, and I'm praying for human kindness. I'm praying for human forgiveness, and I'm praying for us all to belong. And they call me a migrant, and they call me a thief, and they call me a beggar man, an asylum seeker. And I was once a teacher, and I was once a family man, and I was once a dreamer, a community leader. And I've seen friends and family all scattered and broken, and we don't know why the cruelty keeps raging. Yes, I'm seeking your kindness, and I'm longing for safety, and I'm praying for hope, and I'm craving compassion, and I'm searching for meaning, and I feel so alone. I've been stripped to the bone, and home is where we can belong, and home is where our children grow strong. Home is where the fire burns
Luke Scott, third on Kind Sound Radio. Next level show.
That was Human Kindness from the album The Canoe by the amazing Carrie Tree, who we have here with us. And I'm sure you all agree that was such a beautiful, beautiful song. And there's one line, Carrie, that's just stood out to me as we were listening there. It says, and we don't know why the cruelty keeps raging. And it's this idea that these people, and most of us now, you know, this transformational time that we're at on our planet, it's almost the reasoning behind it. It's impossible to fathom. Right? It just seems to me, since I was a child, there were adverts on the TV saying donate £2 a month to get fresh water to people in Africa, and 30 years later it still hasn't happened. And it seems just insane to me that collectively we haven't just eradicated this need for war and suffering. And I'm hopeful, like you say, praying for hope, right? That we are now, right now, every single person who's tuning in here, who's listening, that you are all a part of this movement, where my daughter won't have to see those adverts when she's a kid. Like, we will have done it.
Yeah, I'm with all these subjects. The best thing, the way I understand any of it is I see the war inside myself, like I really do, you know. And I see, when I've met the numbness inside me, I see the cruelty inside me sometimes, and I see this part it's hard to see, actually, and it's vulnerable again to share it, I guess, but it's like it's okay. It's like I have compassion for it, which is sometimes I don't care. Sometimes I don't feel like recycling, or I don't feel the trees, or there's some bitter, cold, hurt, don't care, grumpy, angry place inside me, whatever, all these feelings, you know, which I could so easily judge in other people. But if I feel those places in me, if I feel that for a moment, when I stop judging it and I just have compassion for it, or I'm curious about it, like, wow, I don't think you're a horrible, evil person secretly, Carrie. What's going on there? Like, what's that numbness you feel like? And I actually inquire into it. Of course, straight underneath it, there's a lot of feeling. There's going to be pain and hurt and whatever there is, and that's okay, you know. And I see, okay, there's numbness. If I times this numbness by 1,000, I could see how people do the things they do on this planet. I can see, you know, I can see the war I have inside myself against the things I like and don't like. If I times that by 100, it's how people are able to blow each other up. Like I can understand it, that it's inside all of us. And until I make more peace and let go of the judgment of outside and let go of the judgment inside, that's so much more interesting for me. And I feel my whole being changing and healing in that. And I trust that is helping to heal the war in the world. And that can sound crazy to people, you know, or whatever, like, and it can sound so self-indulgent, but that's my path. That's the only way I can see how to do it. And people are called to do different things, you know, full respect to people that are called to stand on the front line and actually fight these big trucks that try and kill, you know, full power to people for all the things they're genuinely called to do. But I'm genuinely called to do that, you know, to keep going inward and letting go of the judgment and the blame and seeing what's underneath that. And like, it's
a big invitation for healing on our planet, to truly have compassion. And I know that song speaks to that. When you can really truly understand why people do things. There's a great book I love called Conversations with God by Neil Donald Walsh. I've had the pleasure to have some interviews with on my YouTube channel, and he says that in the mind of the master, forgiveness is replaced with understanding. It's like you can always understand why someone does something if you really take the time. I think that's a wonderful invitation. Carrie, we're going to share a different kind of song now, one that I heard when I was in a deep meditation, and I'm going to spoil it for everybody and say there's a line which really touched me, and you can watch out for it. It's so beautiful. So I was in this wonderful meditation. I was hanging out with my friends, and then this amazing singer says that she loves me like the summertime, and the way we flow so easily. And she does this beautiful little humming thing, and I was like, whoa, who is this? And then for weeks, all I was doing was going around singing, and I love you like the summertime.
So sweet.
It's just on a loop in my head. I could not get it out, and I didn't want to get it out because it made me feel so good. And you have this beautiful thing of where I was like, and all great performers and speakers do this. It felt like you were singing right to me, and it was like a comfort blanket. And,
wow.
and thank you for that. So tell everybody a little bit about Summertime.
It's so nice. The songs you pick is so interesting. Like which ones come into the space. Summertime is it's a sweet, like letting go of a relationship, a beautiful journey with somebody where it was just so obvious that it was time for us to let go, and it was a long distance thing, so we were far apart from each other and trying our best to do this thing, and it was like this, so it's got this sort of sorrow in it, but this trust of just coming from this place of like I can love what we share, and I can love you like as sweet as I love the summertime, the summertime for what it is, that it comes and it passes and it's there, and it's gonna, like I know that this being's just out there in the world, and that's enough, and to not cling on and just, what was that line? I have no intention of holding you down, I've got no need to keep us in something that we're trying our best to be. It's just like, let's set each other free. It's the feeling of that, like.
So good. So everybody, open your hearts, open your minds, get ready and let this wash over you and have an experience with the amazing Summertime by Carrie Tree.
Oh, the time is running low. Oh God, I hate this, but I have to go. The season changed from sun to snow. My heart sits here on overflow. My heart sits here on overflow. Now we're miles apart, it seems, and we both can see the finish line, 'cause it's too hard to ever like this. A gentle heart, a tender kiss. I know that I will miss this, but free yourself, let's free ourselves. I have no intention of holding you down. Shine your light, live your life. We were just a moment of cascading love, and I love you like the summertime. How we flow so easily. That's how I hold you in my memory. I always love you like the summertime. Let's free ourselves. I have no intention of holding you down. Shine your light and live your life. We were just a moment of cascading love, and I love you like the summertime. How we flow so easily. That's how I hold you in my memory. I'll always love you like the summertime.
to sound, tuning in for change. Luke Scott, third on Kind Sound Radio. Next level show.
I hope you're feeling the wonderful, loving vibes that Carrie was putting out in that song, and you feel all soft and melty. That's how I feel. It's music's always had this special place in my heart where I allow it into me. You touched on it earlier. It's like we have our ego and we have these masks and these walls that we put up. But I remember as a kid, even just putting my headphones in and listening to something like Whitney Houston, you know, I Will Always Love You. And it just used to make me cry and feel. And I was this supposedly, you know, put on a tough exterior, but inside I'm this little kid who just is so beautiful. And you definitely have that experience. And Carrie, it's been such a blessing to have you on the show. Thank you for everything, and we're so excited to hear about what's coming up for you. I know you are embarking on a new venture, doing some vocal mentorships and helping people heal through their voice training. Tell us what's coming up in Carrie's world. What can people look out for?
Yeah, I mean, thank you so much for having me as well. It's such a pleasure to meet you and to connect with you like this, and really appreciate what you're doing with this radio show and everything. I've been getting to know about you. It's really a beautiful meeting, so thank you. Got a little frog, Jim. He's called Jim. He comes sometimes. My partner calls him Jim. So,
singer's worst nightmare in the middle of a set.
It's like, Jim, not now. Come on. I'm just doing a lot of training. It's like I'm going back to school, but for the first time, I've got homework, which I'm really excited about, which is just amazing. And people often along the way have asked me to teach them to sing or teach them, and I've just don't know where to start with that because I never learned to sing. I just did it because I needed to. So I'm more passionate about the therapeutic side of it and what happens, why it's so hard for us to express ourselves, and why it's so scary, and all the things it brings up, and what's in our voices is like even this sound, this croak coming now is like, what's that about? You know, just it's so fascinating. It shows us so much. So I'm learning holistic voice therapy. It's a course, the diploma I'm doing, and I'm also doing Zen coaching, which is a beautiful coaching modality of holding people in a space of this deep presence and empathic listening, and in this trust that the wisdom comes through the person naturally if you give the space, which it does. It's exquisite, and it's really feeding a part of me, which just sits so side by side by the music, because this is why I play music and I watch this stuff all through the years of gigging around the world. I'm so fascinated with energy on, you know, of what's happening with music and how it touches us, and the medicine of it, actually, you know, the medicine of the voice and of everybody's voice, of how beautiful it is when you hear everybody speak, you know, and the sort of the uniqueness that we bring in that, and every experience we've ever had, it just sits in our voices. And I just have this passion to support people in their journeys of expression and music and singing, and but not like la 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 la. Of course, that's great, but I don't know how to do that. You know, I'm more interested in like what are you feeling in this?
The realness. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Everybody, go sign up to Carrie's mailing list on her website. It's carrietree.co.uk, so you can find out all about what's happening. I know you're re-releasing on Spotify one of your albums, which I haven't actually had a chance to listen to. I was amazed. I saw it was from 2009 or something like that. So I'm going to dive into that, called The Kitchen, is it?
The Kitchen Table, yeah. It's my first album. I've sort of just had it to one side and forgot about it, but then people keep writing to me saying that they love it, and I was like, why don't I just honour that me that was like, you know, 10 years ago now or whatever, like, or more, 12 years ago, whatever it is.
So good. Subscribe to Carrie on her YouTube channel. And Carrie, we're going to end with a song called Honey Soup. If you were to like sum up Honey Soup in 30 seconds, what would you want to say about it?
It's a love song for our bodies. It's a love song and an honouring for these sweet ships which carry us through life, carrying us home, literally back to wherever we came from, and the honey soup, and giving gratitude for these vessels and the journey of that. Yeah.
So good. Everybody enjoy this amazing song by Carrie Tree called Honey Soup, and we look forward to seeing you again on the Next Level show.
Thank you, Luke.
Time to give thanks for this vessel, this sweet ship I sail in. I know you carry me homeward, I know you carry me home. And time to give thanks for this spirit, the spirit inside me. You're always there when I call you. I know you carry me home. The full moon is singing, the candles are burning, and my body is aching now. A fever surrounds me, and it wasn't invited, but for 3 days or more you call and crawl down all the corridors and all the hallways of my body and mind, creaking and bending like a tall ship. I am forced to surrender back to the place where I would die and was born. Where I would die and was born. To the honey soup of it all. And time to give thanks for the sadness inside me. I know you're teaching me kindness. I know you carry me home. And time to give thanks for the beauty, the art of forgiveness. You're always there when I call you. I know you carry me home. Creaking and bending like a tall ship, I am forced to surrender back to the place where I would die and was born. Where I would die and was born. To the honey soup of it all. I know you carry me home. 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 To the honey soup of it all. So I'm overflowing with love for this earthen body, for these fingers and toes, and this story as ancient as this old stone I lie upon.